must confess I like my fez much better than a hat, because I think it suits me best and makes me just like that.
In 1984, magician and comedian Tommy Cooper died performing on stage. He was doing the same act he'd been doing for 40 years, a combination of bad magic and great comedy, topped off with his trademark red fez.
Where did the fez come from?
Well, the fez?
Yes, the fez.
Well, funny enough, the fez came when I was in Egypt. I was in the army there, you see, and...
What's the matter?
Look, well, I backed a horse today, you see, at 20 to 1, and it came in 20 past 4.
I started to collect fezzes almost by accident. I know I got a couple of Tommy Coopers.
Contrary to popular belief, Tommy Cooper was not the first magician to wear a fez.
When Cooper came on the scene, he became so popular, if anybody wore a fez, people would say, "You're copying Tommy Cooper," not realising it was a vogue at the time. Before Tommy Cooper, the big illusionists, they would use turbans and fezzes to create the mysterious Eastern look, you see.
No, when I got the fez, I got it when I was in Egypt. We did a show at the YMCA, and I used to wear a pith helmet. Pith helmet. One day, I forgot to bring it with me, so these waitresses used to walk about with a fez and a long white galabeer. So I took one off the head, and I wore it ever since.
At the end of the Second World War, Trooper Cooper of the Horse Guards was stationed in Cairo, where his talent for comedy was soon employed to entertain the troops. He became part of a double act with another comedian, Frank Lyons.
He was doing jokes that no one else would have the guts to do because they were so stupid and silly, but he would do them and it'd bring the place down.
Doesn't sound much, does it? But 5 minutes from now, this place will be full of Vikings.
He was performing all the time, even though there was nobody there. That's the only time he lived. And he was on the stage all the time, even he was sitting in a restaurant with a cup of tea, he was doing it all the time, yeah. He was obsessed, and he was definitely going to be there. And well, be tired of anybody that got in his way.
Frankie and Tommy didn't work out as a double act. 50 years later, Frank's son wrote a play based on that wartime partnership.
You upstaged me.
What are you talking about?
The play's about ambition. The play's about drive. You have one man who loves doing it, who really likes performing, and you have another person who thinks, right, I am the best at this, and I have to be the best at this, and really nothing is going to get in my way.
The fez business, you bloody pinched it.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
You said I could!
It was my prop!
It's a year and a half after the war's finished, and you've got hundreds of thousands of troops sitting in the desert, all wanting to go home, just waiting to be demobbed. Tommy learnt his act, playing to people who just didn't want to be there and making them roar with laughter and fine-tuning it and honing it, so that by the time he got back to London, he had this act that he could just do anywhere.
He used to use jokes that no one else would dream of, and a lot of his stuff was taken from the very old type musical. And this one with the all the hats, the sailor and the farmer and all this sort of thing, that was an old time musical. So he did that. But the way he did it was much better, and you know, it was good for material for him to do.
Then up jumped the bank manager, who happened to be there. "Throw that tramp out," he cried. "He contaminates the air." "Them's harsh words, friend," the sailor said. The banker said, "So what?" "Them shooting words," the cowboy said. "Are you aiming to be shot?"
The Variety Club of Great Britain luncheon was attended by the Duke of Edinburgh. The highlight of an informal occasion was the act by Tommy Cooper, the Mad Magician. The Duke accepted a magic hat for a certain very small gentleman, and there's no prize for guessing who that would be.
By the mid-60s, the court jester had become part of the establishment. and a leading light in showbiz institutions like the Grand Order of Water Rats.
When I first walked in, it smelt of musty old Showbiz. It smells very much like an old-style gentleman's club, which in many ways is exactly what it is. There are many fezzes in existence, but this is the one that exists in the Water Rats. It was given to the place by the Cooper family, and so we'll call it the authentic fez. And very nice it is too.
Now the glass is here and the bottle's there. Now the difficult part is to make them go back again. So here's the glass, here's the bottle.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tommy Cooper experience.
As soon as I step through, the curtain will come on the side of the wing. I'm in Tommy Cooper mode. But when I normally take the bow after, I take the fez off and I go back to my cell.
Steve started the act as a tribute to Tommy, and after seeing him perform, Tommy's widow Gwen gave him some of her husband's original props.
The prized possession was the fez that Mrs. Cooper gave me. I mean, it was one of Tommy's original fezes, obviously. But Tommy used to sweat so much that it wore the leather band away inside. As you can see, it was very fragile now. So I turned it round, so I made the back the front, and I've carried on wearing it ever since for the shows. And I find that it just gives me something special when I go out and perform the tribute.
I went to the doctor's the other day, I did. I went to the doctor's, he said, you're ill. I said, I want a second opinion. He said, you're bloody ugly and all. And I was in there, and he said to me, he said, what's the matter? I said, you know what? I said, I've had these strange dreams. I'm lying on the bed at night, and I get these...
When designers for the Millennium Dome were looking for the ultimate British comedian, Tommy and his fez fitted the bill perfectly.
He said, what do you want me to do? I said, break my arms.
This was a millennial thing, so it was over the last 100 years. Who would be the biggest comedy don and the funniest guy who could deliver 10 laughs in 3 minutes? And I think we all felt that there's only one man for that job, and that was Tommy Cooper.
Thank you. They're right.
In itself, it's more gothic than we thought, isn't it? It's a bit disgusting, and I think the fez kind of softened that off a little bit for us.
But also, what was really key was we had this naked brain, and you would hear a comedian's voice. You stick a fez on top, and it's Tommy.
Now, I've strained my back, I have. I was playing piggyback with my little boy. I fell off.
There is a place in Alexandria, in the market there, the souk, where you can buy fezes. And the guy there, if you're a rich person and you buy a fez, he does that.
Millions of people all around the world probably walking around with a fez this very moment, you know? You think of a fez, you think of Tommy Cooper, it's as simple as that.
Is that the near the end now, is it? Now my next street! Just a minute, fellas, I've got another street yet! Happy Tommy! Oh dear, oh dear! Happy Tommy!